Over the second part and away up to the bare table now.
Applejack turns at the top of the lake, back over the Jeep Oxford Trail, down the hill. And this is where Ruth Edge will be applying the pressure now if she's going to get anywhere near that optimum time. 6 minutes 45, just 2.8 time faults, the fastest so far. Keeping a really good rhythm through the water on the way out and over the Big Orvis Trout Leap. She's now 4 from home.
Well, Jeanette Breakwell just coming into the arena with Hope Cove to the Fidelity Investment platform. Steadies up for that. Really works in front.
And interestingly enough, Ruth Edge is having to work at Applejack as they go to the Equitrack Choice of Champions. Just working with her arms. The horse just beginning to come off the bit. Applejack now 3 from home.
Jeanette Breakwell over the second part of the Duke of Marlborough's Lions. And now heading out to the arena once again.
Coming out of the light-dark situation of that Choice of Champions at 21 by Carvados, the Olympic show jumper, with those international bloodlines. Applejack, Ruth Edge now rowing for home. Meanwhile, Don't Tell Punch and Ciaran Glynn on course for Ireland. They're over the first 2.
Well, and Marianne Carpenter, Alice Clark picking up just 9.2 time penalties, finishing on 75.2, so taking the lead at this stage, but remember in reverse order the cross-country.
Ruth Edge does a good job with Applejack over that last combination. Really keeps hold and keeps a nice rhythm through it. She's now turning to the last time. All important here for Ruth. She's over the last, pushing for home. Applejack not altogether looking fresh as all that, but has completed. Don't Tell Punch, Ciaran Glynn for Ireland over 4. We'll give you that score for Ruth Edge in a moment. Will she go to top of the leaderboard? Probably will in the reverse order of merit, but will it be good enough to keep ahead of the rest? We'll tell you in a moment.
Well, Jeanette Breakwell, Hope Cove, a flyer over the horse and rider footbridge at 15. Easily enough over that. Plenty of energy there from the 9-year-old. Dropping down the hillside now over Adams Farm Sheep Shelter. Jeanette Breakwell, Hope Cove comes to the Fidelity water. Steadies for the first part. Holds hard. The elbows going as they come into the water. Gather back up the reins. Splashing their way across the lake to the Pet Plan Puddle. Those 2 birds bounces over that. Over the road and up the hill.
Don't Tell Punch, Ciaran Glynn out of the Ariat Pond, the Dew Pond. This an Irish bred horse by Young Freeman, big 17-hand horse that's just 8 years old, owned by Caroline Preston. Now into the arena they go. Just awaiting them to enter that ring and jump fence 8.
Jeanette Breakwell at the top of the hill near the water, drops down over the Jeep 4 Oxford Trail. Now into the water, hesitant as they go in.
Ireland at the moment beginning to come back onto the international stage. Ginny Elliott and her management team really getting to work and doing business. Ciaran Glynn, Don't Tell Punch for Ireland now at the Duke of Marlborough's Lions. Has a good line through and quickly away.
Hope Cove just hanging in the air over the Orvis Trout Leap. Now up the hillside, the Equitrack Choice of Champions. Gary Parsonage about to start off. Sligo Lucky Vellier on a score of 64.2. It's owned by Jenny Ellens, Shirley Hart and Camilla Parsonage. Of course, competed at the very top level, European, world and Olympic level. Gary also part of the competition last week at Burley on the 8-year-old. Jeanette Breakwell, Hope Cove. Over the Equitrack Choice of Champions now, coming to the brushes. The horse steals brushes.
Well, that score for Ruth Edge and Applejack. It's interesting. Her time, 7 minutes, 1 second, 6:45, the optimum. So it gives her 6.4 time faults. She indeed had a lead of 2 at the start, so she certainly give those behind her some room for manoeuvre. But Ruth Edge goes top of the leaderboard with Applejack, 48.4 the score to beats.
Hope Cove very neat in front over the BE Squirrels fence, the fence on the top of the pimple there as they head for home. Gary Parsonage over the first few early fences.
Don't Tell Punch over the Horse Trial Support Group house. Horse Trial Support Group doing wonderful work in helping to finance the team for the World Equestrian Games. Do pop along to the Hi-Ho Silver stand here where you can support the British effort. Don't Tell Punch moving very easily, really covering the ground very comfortably for Ciaran Glynn. Now over 15 and coming to the Adams Farm Sheep Hollow. Jumps that. Now down the water. Big imposing fence, really impressive from Don't Tell Punch's bank. That'll be short. Jumps it easily.
Gary Parsonage coming up to the Ariat Water now. There's a little bit of hesitation there. Nearly takes Gary out the saddle, but he stays there, sticks with it, and over the second part of the Dew Ponds.
Ciaran Glynn, Don't Tell Punch now in the last quarter of the course. Coming to the Jeep Oxford Trail, that impressive log just at the top of the lake for the second crossing. Meanwhile, next to start, John Paul Sheffield with Tass, owned by Howes Race Safe and Tony and Tim Brown. Tony and Tim, who've produced Tass ever since a 4-year-old, competed successfully in the Burley Young Aventor Series Tass. They start on a score of 69, the 9-year-old Tass, 209. Ciaran Glynn now at the Orvis Trout Leap for Ireland. They're on 64.
And Jeanette Breakwell ran in 7 minutes 18, 13.2 time penalties, goes into fourth at the moment on 78.2. Ruth Edge leading the way on 48.4. So Gary Parsonage over the second of the Duke of Marlborough's Lions now leaves the arena on Sligo Lucky Valier, the 8-year-old.
Don't Tell Punch, 37th overnight after dressage and show jumping. So work to be done. Has certainly gone easily, given a lovely ride by Ciaran Glynn. Remember, these are young horses in terms of this level. They were 7th in the 2-star at Tattersalls, that very popular event up in the north of Ireland. Don't Tell Punch over 22 and 2 fences, numbered fences that is, left. Tass has started, John Paul Sheffield over fences 1 and now 2. Tass and JP Sheffield going to the Ose Copier fence. Meanwhile, Don't Tell Punch nicely over. Good round from this combination. Over fence 23, 1 left to dance to jump the Amtrust Horseshoe.
Well, Gary Parsonage over the Horse Trial Support Group house at 14. A little hesitantly. The second part, though, they really elevate over that one. Snaps up nicely.